Protests happened in Turkey too. The occasion was International Women's Day. The cause, the Uighur genocide in China. Unlike their president, these women are not afraid of China. Thousands of them gathered in Istanbul. It was raining, it was messy, but they stood resolute. Most of them were carrying missing posters. On those posters were pictures of activists, family members, basically Uighur Muslims who disappeared in China. These protests continued well into the night. Reports say anti-Pakistan banners were carried. Prime Minister Imran Khan was also condemned for his silence. Now, this takes a lot of guts. For starters, Turkey's President Erdogan is not a fan of protests. On the other hand, he is a fan of China. Erdogan's position on Uyghurs is a classic case of hypocrisy. In 2009, he was a vocal critic. He called China's actions a genocide. Remember, this was before Xi Jinping's presidency, when nobody was talking about the Uyghurs. Erdogan was. 2009. And now that everyone is talking about Uyghurs, Erdogan is not. In 2019, he visited China. He said people were trying to exploit the Uyghurs to spoil Turkey's relationship with China. Who exactly are these people? Erdogan did not say that. Last year, there were similar protests outside the Chinese embassy in Turkey. For the first few months, Erdogan was patient. Then he cracked down. Dozens of people were arrested. The protests were dubbed as a Western conspiracy. So what explains this change? How did Recep Tayyip Erdogan go from being a vocal critic to a silent supporter? Because he needs Chinese money. Turkey is key to China's Belt and Road Initiative. Think of it as a corridor from Europe to Turkey, to the Caucasus, to Central Asia, to China. Without Turkey, this plan is impossible. And talk about role reversals. It was the Ottoman Empire that ended the ancient Silk Route. Today, Turkey is resolved to reviving it. For the Uyghurs, this is a massive tragedy. Turkey is home to around 50,000 ethnic Uyghurs. It was a safe haven for them. But under President Erdogan, that is changing fast. Uyghurs who apply for citizenship are being rejected. Apparently, they are national security threats now. What is their real crime? Speaking out against China, that's what they've done wrong. Dozens of Uyghurs who criticize China have been denied citizenship. Others have been extradited on Beijing's request. Does this mean that Turkey is firmly on China's side? Well, until recently, that was the case. But in the last few months, Turkey's domestic situation has worsened. Their currency has hit rock bottom. Inflation is at a 20-year high, and America has imposed sanctions. Simply put, there is immense pressure on Erdogan, and that pressure is forcing a balancing act. The first indication was in July last year. Erdogan spoke to Xi Jinping on the phone. He told Xi that Uyghurs must live in peace as equal citizens of China. The second indication was in October. 43 nations signed a declaration demanding equal rights and freedoms for Uyghurs. Among the signatories was Turkey. In 2019 and 2020, Turkey refused to sign similar declarations, but last year they did. And now don't mistake this for activism. Erdogan is just playing both sides. His politics is still based on convenience, not principles. He will back Pakistan on Kashmir, he will support Hamas on Palestine, but he will use half measures on China. Having said that, protests like this one will keep the spotlight on Xinjiang. It will force Erdogan to make cosmetic criticisms. Beyond that, he will not interfere. In Erdogan's grand vision of an Islamic empire, the Uyghurs are not his subjects. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.